Hello dear students, today we are going to discuss about very basic things of probability. So we will discuss about basic concept and axioms of probability. So before that we will discuss about some important definitions. First one is experiment. So what is experiment? We can define experiment as it is any process that produces an observation or outcome. Or in other way we can say experiment is an act of conducting a controlled test or investigation. So there are two types of experiment we have. One is deterministic experiment and another one is random experiment. So if we consider experiment, so in real life situation we do different kinds of experiments, right? So all these experiments are divided into these two parts, deterministic experiment and random experiment. So what is deterministic experiment? Deterministic experiment means when we have only one possible result or outcome from the experiment, and also the result is certain or unique. So this type of experiments are called deterministic experiments. In real life situation, we can say when we conduct experiments to verify the laws of science or established laws of other areas, these are the best examples for deterministic experiment. So for example, if we do an experiment conducted to verify the Newton's laws of motion, that is one good example of deterministic experiment. Another example is we can say if we do conversion between Celsius and Kelvin, so we can do it by using the following equation. That means Kelvin equals to Celsius plus 273.15. So we will definitely have a fixed or single value for Kelvin for any specific value for a Celsius. In the experiment we can say if we do an experiment conducted to verify the economic law of demand. So all these examples are for deterministic experiment. Now the next one, random experiment. So what is random experiment? So any experiment can be considered as random experiment if it satisfies the following three conditions. Number one is all possible outcomes of the experiment are known in advance. Second one is the outcome of any particular trial is not known in advance. And third condition, we can repeat the experiment under identical conditions. So for an example, we can say tossing a coin. So if we consider a coin in advance, we know there are two outcomes, head and tail. But we don't know which one will occur for a certain trial. Another example, we can say rolling a die. So for die, we know there are 6 outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when we roll the die, we don't know which one will occur for that certain trial. So these are the real life examples for random experiment. Now, what is sample space? So sample space is defined as it is the collection of all possible outcomes of the experiment, and it is denoted by S. So we can say sample space is the set which contain all possible outcomes of the experiment, and each outcome of the experiment is called a sample point. Again, if we consider the coin toss experiment, we know there are two outcomes, head and tail. So we can write our sample space as S equals to within the parenthesis H, T. If we consider the die example, so throwing a die, the sample space would be S equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we consider the lifetime of a light bulb, then the sample space S is equals to 0 to infinity. So these are the real life examples what we can consider for